Space Shuttle Columbia is back home. The story at 10.
At ABC News, we have a singular mission: to report to you what is happening in the world, completely, accurately, in a timely and unbiased fashion. We take that mission very seriously. You can see it in our faces. ABC News, we're America's choice.
This is KVUE-24 News Brief, brought to you by Brake Check.
Hello, I'm Robert Hadlock. Stay with us after the movie for Action News at 10. Flags at the U.S. Capitol are flying at half-staff in memory of Congressman Mickey Leland. After 6 days of searching in the highlands of western Ethiopia, officials have announced that no one survived the crash of a plane that was taking Leland and 15 other people to visit a refugee camp. Now this. The mission of Space Shuttle Columbia ended like it began. The shuttle landed today at Edwards Air Force Base in California, and we'll have the story at 10.
This is ABC.
Tonight on KVUE-24, a 7-day search in Ethiopia ends with a grim discovery. Texas Congressman Mickey Leland and 15 others are found dead. Southwestern Bell Telephone has averted a strike. And we'll tell you about a lunar eclipse set for this week. KVUE-24 Action News is next.
I'm buying KitchenAid appliances from McNair's because I wouldn't go anywhere else.
When my washer broke, I called 454-4526, and McNair's came out and fixed it that same day.
I've been buying KitchenAid appliances from McNair's for years because both are dependable and I like to see money.
When I need an appliance repaired, I call 454-4526, and McNair's gets it fixed.
McNair's earning your trust since 1939.
Free money birthday from K98.
Do you know your own birthday? Then you could win $3,000 this Thursday morning. How? Easy. Put your radio on K98 at 98.3 FM. Then listen Thursday morning at 7:20. We'll announce the birthday in this envelope, and if it matches yours, you could win $3,000.
More free money from K98.
Thursday morning at 7:20, somebody's going to win $3,000. Listen to K98, and it could be you.
The plane was located. There are no survivors.
The search for Mickey Leland has come to a tragic end in a place he once called the end of the earth. Leland's plane was finally found this morning in a treacherous mountain area in western Ethiopia. Good evening, I'm Robert Hadlock. The flags at the White House and the U.S. Capitol are flying at half-staff tonight in memory of Mickey Leland. ABC's Richard Sergey reports on the grim discovery.
The wreckage of Congressman Leland's small aircraft was spotted early this afternoon in a remote and rugged part of the Ethiopian countryside. The plane had crashed into a 5,600-foot mountain ravine. An American Black Hawk helicopter crew, which was carrying a friend of Leland's, made the grim discovery.
The two wings sheared off just about instantaneously, and the left almost melted to the top of the fuselage. The rest of the fuselage is gone. The engines are melted. Everything is missing.
As giant U.S. Hercules aircraft circled the mountain, the helicopters lowered rescue crews by rope to the crash site.
And they told us that everybody had died instantaneously at the moment of impact.
Leland's aircraft was apparently heading toward the Ethiopian capital when it crashed, flying in the opposite direction from the refugee camp where it was supposed to land on Monday. Officials here speculate that because of poor weather conditions, Leland's pilot was using this river to guide him back. Earlier in the week, rescue efforts focused on the area because of reports that local residents heard a light plane circling near two dirt airstrips. But dangerous terrain and bad weather have hampered the search. For days now, Leland's colleagues have hoped for the best, joining a massive U.S. and Ethiopian rescue operation that covered more than 100,000 square miles. But tonight, the grief was clearly evident on their faces.
We came here to bring our friend home, and he's home. not exactly the way that we had thought about it.
Tonight, the search area has been secured, and medical evacuation teams are expected to bring the bodies out sometime tomorrow. Richard Sergey, ABC News, Addis Ababa.
News of the congressman's death has hit Texas hard, especially in the black community. KVUE-24's Keith Elkins reports on Austin's reaction to Leland's fate.
I knew him as a great and as a sensitive man who had a way of putting the needs of others before his own personal needs.
As the news quickly spread from pulpit to parishioner, Texas black community sat stunned. They were not prepared to shift the focus of their prayers from the safe return of Congressman Mickey Leland back to Texas to sympathy for the family he leaves behind.
May God bless these families, and may the whole black community recognize that we have suffered a great loss.
News of this morning's grim discovery also sent shockwaves through the state capitol.
He never forgot where he came from. He never forgot what his purpose in life was, and it's going to be a great loss to all mankind because of his death.
Elected to the Texas House of Representatives in 1973, Leland served 5 years and made many friends. One of those was State Representative Wilhelmina Delco, who says it was Representative Leland who co-signed her very first piece of legislation.
It's just one of those things you have to deal with by faith, but I don't think there's any question about the fact that it's a tragic loss, not just for our communities, but for this country.
Some say it's a test of faith, while others call it another loss in a string of great leaders who have come and gone.
But as we think about what your son Martin King said, he said that a man should have a cause for which he could die. Mickey, thank you for your cause.
Although clearly saddened by the tragic fate of Congressman Mickey Leland in Africa, church leaders say it will soon be time to replace the tears of sadness with hope for the future, for members of the church to take a positive role in finding his replacement. But they add, finding someone as compassionate and as understanding as Mickey Leland was, and saying goodbye to such a close friend, will be a heavy cross to bear. Keith Elkins, KVUE 24 Action News.
So far, there's no word when Governor Clements will call a special election for Leland's unexpired term. In Houston, Leland's family, friends, and staff are in seclusion tonight. A constant stream of mourners have been coming by his office since word of the crash spread. His friends say Leland spent years evolving from a firebrand black activist to an activist on behalf of humanity everywhere. Tom Cook looks back at some of the highlights of Leland's political career.
A kid from Lubbock who grew up in Houston's poverty-stricken 5th Ward, George Mickey Leland never intended to be a politician. He graduated from Texas Southern University with a pharmacy degree and was a practicing pharmacist until 1972, when he ran for a Texas House seat and won. Leland, a civil rights activist, wore an afro and a militant reputation to Austin. But his political style and his wardrobe moderated during 3 terms. And by 1978, he easily won election to the U.S. House, replacing the retiring Barbara Jordan. Leland's only serious challenge since came from school board member Elizabeth Spates in 1988. Leland won re-election and vowed to pay more attention to constituents while devoting more time to the plight of the hungry and homeless.
To ignore the increasingly desperate need of a growing number of poor and hungry Americans would amount to genocide.
Over the years, Leland's efforts earned him the chairmanship of the House Select Committee on Hunger.
Many of us here today have recently returned from Africa, where we witnessed the horror of famine and death firsthand.
He frequently traveled internationally, including several trips to Cuba to free political prisoners. While many praise his streak of humanity, others have criticized his close ties to Houston's business establishment and his affluent lifestyle. Leland insisted he shouldn't apologize for making himself better, especially since success never changed his views. In Houston, Tom Cook reporting.
Some 1,200 Austin area Southwestern Bell telephone workers will be getting some good news when they call their union hall tonight.
We have a tentative agreement with Southwestern Bell. Everyone is to report to work at their normal scheduled hours. Details will follow.
That tentative contract agreement means telephone service throughout Texas will not be disrupted. Communication Workers of America members in Austin tonight are pleased they will not be walking a picket line tomorrow. KVUE-24's Michelle Middlebrook is live at the Union Hall in East Austin with more. Michelle?
Thanks, Robert. It has been a very long weekend for CWA members, but now a rewarding one. Joining me right now is Andy Milburn, president of the CWA here in Austin. And Andy, I just wanted to ask you, how does it feel? It took about, well, a little over 19 hours after the midnight deadline Saturday. How do you feel now?
Tired, but I feel good that we have an agreement and that we were able to avoid a strike with Southwestern Bell.
Okay, tell me, there were several things in the negotiations that you wanted taken care of. Tell me a little bit about what has been resolved.
There were three key issues that were holding up us reaching an agreement. The retrogression on our pension and our health care and the lump sum payment of our pay raise. We were able to maintain our pensions, our health care. We did have to yield on part of our pay raise being in a lump sum, but that lump sum will be in a $1,000 bonus, so I just don't feel I'm going to have that many objections about a check for $1,000.
Okay, what happens now?
All the local presidents will meet in St. Louis on Thursday, and the contract will be explained to us in detail. We will return back to our respective locals, hold membership meetings with our members to explain the contract, and then take a ratification vote.
And you feel that that's pretty certain?
There's no doubt in my mind that this contract will ratify.
Okay, great. Andy Milburn, president of CWA here in Austin, thank you so much for joining us. And once again, the strike has been averted. Back to you, Robert.
Michelle Middlebrook, live in East Austin. Well, the Space Shuttle Columbia astronauts are headed home to Houston after a successful landing earlier today in Southern California. The five-man crew landed shortly after sunrise, ending a 5-day journey of more than 2 million miles. NASA has kept mum about the details of the mission. The astronauts reportedly deployed a spy satellite. Today's landing ended the 30th mission of the shuttle program. A rather cloudy start to the week ahead, and Troy Kimmel is next with your forecast.
Troy Kimmel's weathercast carries the seal of approval from the American Meteorological Society. Troy Kimmel, part of your 24 storm team.
Well, Bob Rose is taking the weekend off. A dry weekend, yet another one.
And we're still trying to find that rain out there somewhere. We so desperately need over parts of central Texas, Robert. It looks like possibly start the new week some showers out there. Even now, a little leery of it, and we'll show you thinking that when we look at the satellite pictures in just a few minutes. Across central Texas, though, an end of a pretty nice day across the area. It was a little warm, but other than that, very summer-like, and if you had outdoor plans, those were just fine across the area. And at 10 o'clock at the National Weather Service office at Robert Miller Airport, the current temperature holding at 83 degrees. The humidity still relatively low at 53%, southeast winds at 8. Pressure right now is rising. High temperature today in the capital city made it all the way up to 93 degrees. 66, another abnormally low morning low temperature across the Austin area. Ordinarily we run about 70 to 75 for the lows, so indeed a little cooler than usual, and no rainfall. That's the same old thing. Our area lakes this evening from the LCRA sees a downward trend. That should not surprise us too much, but Cannon and Travis, and the water temperature at Travis about 82, and the Canyon Dam release today was 70 cubic feet per second. Sunrise tomorrow morning, that occurs at 6:57. Sunset tomorrow evening at 8:14. Talk about the tropics for a second here. We got a couple of areas we're watching, first of which has been in the eastern Gulf of Mexico, an old frontal boundary that has been very persistent. You notice it in the early part of the images. However, late in the sequence, notice most of the thunderstorms shift over Florida, so even though we'll keep an eye on that, I don't expect too much out of it. Another area of disturbed weather out here, fairly concentrated to the north, the Dominican Republic out there. We're watching that as well, thunderstorms in Central America. But by far, things are pretty quiet. One area of disturbed weather way along the west coast of Africa out there will have to be monitored also over the next couple of days, I think. Now, here's the national weather for you. You can notice a fair amount of thunderstorms, especially over the central part of the country this afternoon, from the Rockies eastward to the Great Lakes, portions of the upper Mississippi Valley. A tornado reported just a few minutes ago. Up in South Dakota, it was a funnel cloud report, but in any case, some fairly heavy thunderstorms continue there. You also notice the cloud element still moving northwest to southeast. That's what's going to bring our chance of rain here locally. The upper air pattern is like this. High pressure out to the west of the area,
Low pressure to the east. We're sandwiched in between, so everything in the upper levels flows from northwest to southeast. There is an upper air disturbance now moving through the Texas Panhandle. As it moves south tomorrow, with even the amount of moisture we have, there's a chance of showers. Right now, though, it seems to have decreased a little bit in the last couple of hours. We're trying to be hopeful in this activity that's developing over portions of the Texas Panhandle this evening. This activity beginning to line up, and that's apparently right along that upper air disturbance as it moves on toward the south and toward the east. The visual satellite picture this afternoon shows that some of the high clouds associated with that activity already making its way into central Texas about sundown. So I expect a lot of clouds tomorrow, and temperatures may be just a degree or so cooler as a result of that. 24 color weather radar. I want to show you that very quickly. We've had a little light shower still showing up down there south of Gonzales, but that's been about it. This is all ground clutter around the local site. Now, forecast for Austin overnight tonight. Go for a partly cloudy sky, an increasing cloud the late tonight, and a 20% chance of thunderstorms after midnight. Low of 69. Then tomorrow, I'm going to still hold up with a 40% chance of thunderstorms. Not as much sunshine tomorrow with the high clouds around as a result of all the thunderstorms to the northwest, and accordingly, only about 90 for the high. Tomorrow night, look for a continuing chance of showers and thunderstorms around, low of around 70. Extended forecast holds a slight chance in for Tuesday. Then it's back to the heat. Although not as bad, still highs about 90. We normally run about 95 or 96, so at least a little cooler than normal across portions of central Texas. Well, as we mentioned, Bob's not with us this evening, but he did leave us a little edition of Skywatch for tonight. You know, it's been more than about 7 years since North America has experienced a total lunar eclipse. But this Wednesday evening, Central Texans will have the opportunity to see an eclipse of the full moon. Bob Rose has more.
This Wednesday night, people all across North America will be treated to a rare astronomical event. On this night, there will be a total eclipse of the full moon. A lunar eclipse occurs when the sun, earth, and moon are aligned in a straight line, and the moon passes through the earth's shadow. A lunar eclipse is particularly interesting to watch because no special equipment is needed. You can look right up at the moon and see all of the events unfold. Here's what to look for. At 8:20, the moon will rise. At the same time, the moon will start to enter the darkest part of Earth's shadow, called the umbra. Over the next hour, the shadow will slowly engulf more and more of the moon. At 9:20, the total eclipse will begin. The moon will be entirely inside the umbra and will be a dim reddish-brown color. Shortly after 10, the moon will be at its darkest and dullest. The total eclipse ends just before 11. The moon's left edge will start to brighten, and over the next 2 hours, it will leave Earth's shadow and shine as brightly as before. So mark a big star in your calendar for this Wednesday night's lunar eclipse. It will be one exciting show you don't want to miss.
Well, if you'd like more information on Skywatch and any type of astronomical news around Central Texas, you can call the McDonald Observatory Skywatchers Report. That number, 471-5007.
Let's hope for some clear skies on Wednesday night.
We'll see.
Thank you, Troy. How did the new look Cowboys look today? Well, Danny shows us next. Frankly, we had a pretty boring golf tournament here on 24 up until the end.
Right at the end got real exciting.
Yes, it did.
You had to sit through a lot of boring golf, but it did get exciting. Payne won the PGA. Payne Stewart came out of nowhere today to win the last major championship of the season. Now, Mike Reed had led almost the entire tournament, but the man they call Radar picked up a false echo. He hit his drive into the water on 16 for a bogey. Then Radar ran into some ground clutter. Bad chip here on 17. Then Reed made yet another mistake. Bad putt, double bogey. But Payne Stewart and his knickers were knocking him in. Watch this chip. Nothing to it. Stewart birdied 3 of his last 4 holes, picked up 3 strokes down the stretch. Reed lost 3 strokes, a 6-stroke swing. Payne Stewart wins his first major championship with a wild tournament turnaround. The new look Cowboys look pretty good today, good enough to win their first preseason game in San Diego. Troy Aikman started at quarterback and he played very well. Aikman to Kelvin Martin for the touchdown. Aikman played the entire first half, 8 of 11, 67 yards. Steve Walsh played the third quarter. He was just 2 of 8 for 22 yards. Second half, the Dallas defense did some scoring. Everson Walls grabs it and weaves his way through the San Diego team goes all the way the other way for the touchdown. Veteran Everson turns into instant offense. Give him some oxygen right at the end. You think new coach Jimmy Johnson was happy? You better believe it. Johnson welcomes Walls to the sidelines. The new Cowboys beat the Chargers 20-3. After winning an emotional game yesterday, the Astros just didn't have anything left for today. Cincinnati shut them out. Todd Benzinger singles up the middle right here, and Eric Davis scores. Still in the fourth inning, same hit, same spot. Different batter. Ron Oster does an instant replay imitation. Reds ahead to stay, and that was plenty for Tom Browning. Browning blanks the Astros on just 6 hits. He gets 6 strikeouts. He beats Houston for the 7th straight time. Reds beat the Astros 5-0, and the struggling Stros have now lost 4 of their last 5 games. Bruce Ruffin had a tough task today. Try and slow down the unconscious Cubs. And he was doing it until he made this pitch in the 6th. Jerome Walton slaps it down the line, fair ball. The tying run races home. Walton extends his hitting streak to 24 straight games, longest in the majors this season. But then in the 8th inning, Walton got hurt. Von Hayes, long blast, center field, and the rookie runs into the wall. He bounces off the bricks. He did not get up, and Hayes races around with an inside-the-park home run. Shoulder injury out there for the center fielder Walton. The Phillies beat the Cubs 5-3, and Ruffin did not figure in the decision. The play of the day happened in Baltimore. Never let a pitcher try and catch a fly ball, and here's why. Dave Johnson of the Orioles, little bloop. I got it. I got it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, I told you, I got it. Made it look tough, didn't he? The Johnson and the O's beat Boston. Final score, 6-1. Giants still 3 games ahead of the Astros, even though they lost today. Los Angeles beat San Francisco 3-2. Pirates win just their 4th game in their last 16 tries. And Bob Ojeda of the Mets beat St. Louis. It's his 4th straight victory. Burt Blyleven picked up his 8th straight victory as California beat Oakland. Bottom of the 8th, Texas and Detroit still tied in Arlington. Brewers have now won 5 of the last 6. They're starting to make a move. Bo Jackson, his 23rd home run as Kansas City beat Toronto. Jesse Barfield, 4 RBIs today. And the White Sox hit just their first home run in their last 16 games. Sounds like they've got Danny Elzner as a batting instructor.
Thanks, Dan. In just a moment, some highlights of Aquafest 89.
I thought all centers were accredited.
Do your employees have any special training?
Well, what about learning activities?
How do you feel about discipline?
Quality child care is a growing concern. Beginning Monday, August 21st, KVUE-24 Action News will take a week-long in-depth look at child care in Austin, providing you with valuable information and connecting you with groups that can help. So join KVUE-24 Action News for the Child Care Connection, because children are our future.
What you are watching is called free television. It's part of a system born 50 years ago that is unlike any other in the world. Through your free TV window, you've been witness to triumph and tragedy, to love, laughter, learning, life. It's offered free to all, even the cable systems that carry it. Imagine the impact if it were gone. Join us in the coming months as we celebrate and stand watch over free TV.
The 9 days of merriment that is Aquafest has come to an end, but for the estimated 500,000 people who visited Auditorium Shores this summer, the memories will linger. KVUE-24 photographer Jim Glasscock put together this look back. Well, it's going to get hot next year. It's when Aquafest comes back again. welcome. We hope you come back again tomorrow. Up next, USA Today, the weekend show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Amado Peña. This is an original work that I created especially for Austin Community College to help establish a scholarship fund for Hispanic students. 2,000 poster prints of this work are being offered to establish this fund. Please join me and the Austin Community College in our effort to help needy students. You can help by giving someone a college education by contributing today.
This is 24, KVUE-TV, Austin.